Already mic testing, mic testing. Okay, perfect. Let me go to my main camera. Alrighty, we're live, and as you guys can tell by title and thumbnail, today I'm going to be working on more game logic. Actually, I'm going to be working on raycasting in Unreal Engine by using C++. That's it. I did say game logic out of instinct. Although last stream I did go over actually summoning objects and storing the objects or storing the character class that I've summoned in my Unreal Engine level inside of an array and deleting them too. Although today I will be working on the raycasting logic type stuff. So let's go to my gameplay screen. There we go. Okay, and in case you guys don't know what I was about to work on, let me show you guys real quick. This is the project that I worked on last stream. If I were to go ahead and run the code, this is going to open my Unreal Engine. Let's wait for Unreal Engine to open real quick. Hold up, I think it should take like a few seconds because it does take a while when you just open it. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and get Claude up here. And guys, I did not use Claude for my last stream. I was just working on the basics type stuff. So this still is the chat from last week. Okay, let's see. Okay, see you next stream. Okay, let's say something like Sensei I'm live exclamation. Let's go with something like Sensei I'm live exclamation. Okay, that said, let's go with something like that said. Today I want to work on my ray casting logic exclamation. Okay, that's it. Let's go ahead and hit enter and open my Unreal Engine real quick. So this is basically the project that I worked on here. Let me just extend that. There we go. So this is basically the project that I worked on last stream where I could actually summon Artistrame objects and all that stuff. So if I were to go to something like content and then double click, so let's just go ahead and memory pressure warning, memory pressure warning. Okay, it was saying memory pressure warning for some reason. That said, if I go ahead and run my program, so I have my character. This is apparently my sharpshooter. There isn't any VFX or graphics just yet, but I will be working on those things. Where every time I click M, a meat spawns in my level. There we go. And the meat can spawn here as well. Okay, for some reason it just kind of blocks the path. Okay, I think that their collision box is kind of big, but that's about it. So I can just go ahead and spawn all the meats that I want. I do get kind of limited because of my mouse pointer. There we go. And every time I hit backspace, one meat gets destroyed from my array. So if I go there, there we go. Pretty sure all the meats have gone. So yeah, that's basically it. This is what I worked on. But today I'm going to be working on raycasting, where every time I shoot my meat, it works the same as I'm hitting a target and I'm going to get a certain debug message on my window. Okay, so I guess I speaking a lot. Okay, there we go. Let me just go ahead and open my second project here. This is my mini project which I worked on last stream. I did go ahead and write my, let's zoom in a bit. So in my C++ file, I did write my shoot function. So this is basically the only function that I will be needing. So I might use some of this for reference because I don't have enough practice with this. So let me just read it once before I actually try writing it. Firstly, we get our world, okay, and then we check if our world exists. Only if our world exists, we go ahead and cast to see if the controller that we're currently working with is our player's controller. It is my Alex's controller. If it is, then I'm going to go ahead and add another if statement that checks if my player controller is not null PDR. If my world exists, if my player controller exists, neither one of them is null, then I'm going to go ahead and create two variables and then get my mouse's X and Y axis. The reason I do this is because I want to shoot wherever my mouse actually is located at. So my mouse is going to be like my trigger point. Okay, so I go with floating point of mouse's x-axis, mouse's y-axis. Then I point my player controller towards my get mouse position. There I have my two variables. The data of my mouse's position, it's going to be stored in these two variables. Hello Vic, have you tried VLang already? Actually, I did not have time to try VLang, but I will be definitely working on it after the stream. I'm definitely going to be having a mini, let's say mini series where I work with VLang. Okay, that said, and then after I'm done creating my mouse, I create two more variables, but this time that stores my worlds as direction and rotation. Okay, so which way am I facing? So which way should my laser actually be facing once I shoot, and which way should it be going? So position and location. Okay, and then I added a tiny comment here so I could understand something. 2D equals to screen 3D equals to game world. This function is used to convert two-dimensional screen to a three-dimensional world's location and rotation. So D project screen position to world. I see. I need my mouse's x-axis, y-axis, and my world location, world direction. Okay, it's not that hard. And then where does the array start and end logic? So f vector, I create another f vector, which is represented by a local variable called start, that is equal to my world location plus my world direction multiplied by 500. Okay, so this is where I actually shoot my ray. So this is my starting point of my ray, and then I have an end, so start plus world direction multiplied by 10,000 is going to be, my ray is going to travel 10,000 units away from my player, and then it's going to stop. Okay, why did you decide to actually use VLang? What do you find interesting about it? Honestly, I did not really find something special that, that got me excited to use VLang. I haven't even looked into it till now. The reason I'm actually trying is because you have been asking for a lot of days, and I do want to give multiple programming languages a shot, so I actually do know which I enjoy the most and all that. But I think I should stress about that after this series is over. That said, now let me go ahead and move on to my sharpshooters' header files. I don't think that I need erases object. So what else would I need? Let's see real quick. I'm going to be needing a left mouse button action, so let's go ahead and do that. Would I need anything besides left mouse button? I want to see everything I need first. Okay, so basically I just need a left mouse button and my shoot action. Okay, so that might not be that tough. So under, let's say, my backspace action, I'm gonna go ahead and add a comment that says something like LMB action, which is basically my left mouse button action. I think I should get my mic a bit lower because yesterday I watched my stream to just see if everything was going good and all that. My voice does feel like my mic's quality is awful, but I don't know why. I think because my mic is way too close to my face, or yeah, I think my mic is way too high, that's why. That's it for my LMB action. Firstly, I want to set my U property to be edit anywhere. I want to be able to edit my LMB action anywhere. I want my LMB action to be blueprint read only. Only want my only want my left mouse button's action. Only want my blueprint to be able to read my left mouse button's action, not really edit it. And then lastly, I want to go ahead and categorize it in a category called something like input, because basically left mouse button is an input that comes from my controller. Okay, once I'm done with that, I'm gonna go under that and create a U input actions class, or actually represent my U input actions class through a pointer called something like LMB action. There we go. Oh bad guys, I forgot this is not Python. Okay, ACTION, and then I'm gonna go ahead and do a semicolon. You have a beautiful face, guys. Beautiful face does sound kind of cool. I actually appreciate you guys. That actually means the world to me, guys. Okay, that's it. Now under my boolean check, I'm gonna go with another boolean variable of B is LMB pressed. There we go. This is gonna be a check to see if my left mouse button has been pressed or has not been pressed. When I begin my program, my left mouse button has not been pressed. But then if I ever want to change that, so I know that my left mouse button is being pressed, I'm going to create a LMB underscore pressed function, which is going to initiate and convert this variable to be true if a certain condition is met. And I'm going to have a LMB underscore released function, which when it executes, my is left mouse button pressed function is going to be set to false, if that makes any sense. Okay, and then lastly, I'm going to go ahead and create a white function called something like shoot. That's about it, with a pair of parentheses ending with a semicolon. Now, I'm going to go ahead and hit Control S to save the code and move on to my sharpshooters C++ file. Okay, and then now in my C++ file, let's go all the way down here. I'm going to add a comment that says something like LMB or let's say left mouse button functions. Now, just to save some time, I'm gonna go ahead and just copy the small things, might as well. There we go. I'm gonna paste this here and change R to L. Let's replace the R with an L. So, if my LMB function has been executed, then I wanna set my boolean variable of is LMB pressed. to be equal to true, ending with a semicolon. In the other hand, if my LMB released function, LMB underscore released, RELEASED, if my released function has been executed, then I want to set my boolean variable of is LMB or is LMB pressed to be equal to false, ending with a semicolon. You guys get the basic gist of it. When my pressed function has been executed, my LMB pressed boolean variable is going to be true. If my LMB release function has been executed, my LMB underscore pressed is going to be set to false. Once I'm done with that, let's actually work on our shoot function. Okay, honestly, while I'm actually working on it, I might eat an apple. Thanks, Calvin. Okay, basically the next thing I'm going to be doing is let me actually get my Visual Studio up here. I canceled it by mistake. Okay, let's open the mini project again. There we go. Let's go and exit Unreal Engine configurations. Under the configurations, I have nothing but respect for her dedication. Honestly, actually means the world to me. Hold up, guys. There you go. It's really hard to talk with your mouth full. That said, I actually appreciate you the going to Zaire Peninsula. That actually means the world to me, guys. Okay, that's it. Now let's say under my functions. So there we go. Under my destroy summon function, I'm gonna go ahead and add a comment that says something. Let's maybe go ahead and add some space here. There we go. Okay, now in the comment, I'm gonna say something like shoot function because I want to go ahead and define the shoot function that I've declared in my header files. So let's go with something like shoot function. Now for my shoot function, just to save some time because I'm really lazy to type this out, I'm gonna go ahead and paste this here. From my void a sharpshooters as class, I want to go ahead and get a hold of my shoot function that does not require any parameter, but it does require some kind of content in it. For the contents, firstly, I'm gonna add a comment that says something like get world. I want to get my world. To do that, I'm gonna go with something like uWorld, which is going to be represented by a pointer called world. That is going to be equal to my Unreal's get world function. This function gives me access to my Unreal's three-dimensional world. And then I'm gonna go ahead and add a if statement to check if my world does exist and that it's not null PDR or it's not null. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a if statement that says something like, hi, yo, howdy pixels, I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, so I'm gonna go with something like if my world is not equal to null PDR, then I'm gonna go ahead and do something. That's when I'm gonna go ahead and get my player controller. To get my player controller, I'm gonna go with something like a player PLAYER, a player controller, okay, which is going to be represented by pointer called PC, short for player controller, which is going to be equal to a cast. I'm gonna cast to check if the player controller that I actually get is the player controller which belongs to my sharpshooters class. So my cast is going to be requiring a player controller as well. Okay, if I'm talking about this player controller, CONTROLLER, with a pair of parentheses of controller. Okay, so this is where I get my player controller. Now I'm going to check if my player controller is not null. So let's go with something like if my PC is not equal to null PDR, then I'm going to go ahead and do something. Okay, so if my world does exist, if my player controller does exist, what is something that I want to do? Let's just grab my reference project here. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and create two variables to store my mouse's position, right? Is it position? There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and add a comment that says something like create two variables that are in charge of storing actually that are going to store the mouse's position. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and create a floating point variable firstly for my mouse's x-axis, and the second variable is going to be for my mouse's y-axis, ending with a semicolon. And then I'm actually going to go ahead and get some data for these variables. To do so, I'm going to go with something like, it's really lovely. I really love your recent works. Honestly, actually, it does make sense. I feel like it's starting to get much better and all that stuff. That said, this isn't even the best part, because maybe, hopefully, if I get a good grasp of like the raycasting and the summoning logic from, let's say next week, I will be working on UIs where I'm actually going to be trying to add some graphics to my player, for example, health bar, or let's say different kinds of graphics and all that. For example, when I shoot something, I want to actually add some kind of shockwave and all that. But I do gotta make those. So this Tuesday, I will be having another Blender stream, and hopefully, if I have time, I'm going to work for longer. That said, and this time I was actually planning to work on accessories compared to like 3 models which I worked on last stream. It really depends on how far am I done with my, let's say, my model, because I do gotta learn some anatomy about the females or about the females and males' muscles as well, if that makes any sense. Okay, that said, I'm gonna go with something like player controller, which points towards get mouse position, POSITION. There we go. Was this a function with a pair of parentheses that requires a parameter of my mouse's x-axis and my mouse's y-axis, ending with a semicolon? Okay, that's about it. And then I'm gonna go ahead and create 2 more variables. So I'm gonna go with something like create 2 variables. Okay, that are going, I think I spelled going wrong here, that are going to store, let's go with something like going to store the world's direction and location. And again, guys, if you guys are like struggling to like see my entire window through my vertical stream, which is in portrait mode, make sure to move on to my horizontal stream, which is actually in a landscape mode, where I actually show my entire window. That said, I'm gonna go with something like a f vector, which is going to be represented by 2 local variables, where the first local variable is going to be something like my world's direction, and the second local variable is going to be my world location, LOCATION, ending with a semicolon. Now I need to see the function. This is like the harder part. So once I'm done getting, create a variable that stores worlds' direction and location. It's the same thing. Okay, 2D 2-dimensional equals to screen. Our screen is 2-dimensional. 3-dimensional equals to our game world. Our game world is 3-dimensional. This function is used to convert 2-dimensional screen into a 3-dimensional world direction and location. The project screen position to world. Shouldn't be that hard, honestly. Okay, so this is not compulsory, but I'm still gonna write this. 2D equals screen and 3-dimensional equals to game world. Okay, because the reason I actually write these comments right now is so I can later on understand what these means when I read my program type stuff. Okay, and then let's go with something like this function is in charge of converting converting our 2-dimensional screen into 3-dimensional games is actually 3-dimensional world. Okay, our 2-dimensional screen into 3-dimensional world. I think that's pretty good, honestly. That said, once I'm done with this, I'm gonna go ahead and use IntelliSense firstly. Let's go with something like player controller points towards D. What was it? Was it D project convert something? Hold up, guys. My memory's kind of bad when it comes to this. D project screen position to world. That's a hard function to memorize. PRO IntelliSense. There we go. D project mouse position to world. I think it was this. D project mouse position to world with a pair of parentheses. Now this function requires 4 parameters. The first parameter is gonna be my mouse's x-axis. I think I spelled mouse wrong. The second parameter is gonna be my mouse's y-axis. Did I go with a period? Okay, the third parameter is gonna be my mouse, actually my world direction. Let's go with something like world WORLD, world direction. Lastly, my fourth parameter is gonna be my world location. Okay, did I really get the correct function? The project screen position to world. It's screen position to world, not mouse. There we go. So my D project screen position to world sys function requires these parameters. And that's about it. Once I'm done adding these parameters, what's the next thing that I need? So where does my race start and end? So I gotta go ahead and add some math formulas. So f vector start, f vector end. Start is going to be world direction plus, actually start is going to be equal to world location plus world direction multiplied by 500. End is going to be my start plus my world direction multiplied by 10,000. Okay, let's go with something like get the raises start, and let's go with something like start and end position. Okay, so for my start position, I'm gonna go with something like how did I already forget? Hold up, guys, maybe I eat an apple. I've heard that apple jogs your memory. It does not. Excuse me, guys. Why is apple way too chewy? That said, there we go. I need an F vector. I was just whatchamacallit, trying to peek into you guys' soul to see if I might find an answer. Okay, let's go with start. So my F vector of start is going to be equal to my world location. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and increase my world location by my world direction multiplied by DIRECTION multiplied by 500.f, which is basically 500 centimeters, actually times 500 centimeters away from where my from which position is my mouse facing. Guys, this part is really hard to phrase actually. That said, once I'm done with this, I'm gonna go with another F vector. Let's go with F vector, ECTOR, okay, which is going to be represented by a local variable called end. Now, my ending position of my ray is gonna be where my ray starts. I'm gonna increase that place by, let's say, my world direction. Okay, world direction is basically which way my ray is actually going in front through, or like traveling through. For example, my location is exactly where I want my ray to shoot from, which is basically wherever my mouse pointer is, 500 centimeters in front of where my mouse actually clicks. Although world direction is which way does it travel once it's been triggered. Okay, I'm going to multiply this by 10,000. Let's go with, that's 10, 100,000, 10,000. Should I go with 100,000? I think 10,000 is good. Okay, and then let's end that with a semicolon. And we're, I think, halfway done with our function. Let's keep going. So, next up, I gotta go ahead and get a hit result. Okay, I've worked with hit results. I know what it does. Basically, what a hit result does is that whenever my ray hits something that has collision in it, or there is a kind of object, character, or any sort of, let's say, entity in my program that blocks my ray from going any further, that is going to be stored inside my F hit results structure. F is usually prefix for structures. Later, I'm going to use all the data which is inside of my hit result to do or perform certain actions. For example, if it hits my target, either I'm going to decrease my target's HP or I'm going to destroy my target. If that made any sense, guys. This is getting way too hard to phrase these days. Speaking of which, okay, morning, I have Python exam. Honestly, I actually do have a Python quiz this Tuesday as well. Good luck with that. Let me know how it goes. Royal Bites, is that your name? Okay, so after we store our hit result, we do actually ignore our player by adding the F collision query parameters and structure, which basically we use the local variable of our query parameters and then apply the dot add ignored actors as function. There I require this as a parameter for my function. My ray should ignore everything besides my actor. I don't really want to shoot my actor with his own ray. Okay, let's do that. Firstly, I'm gonna go with something like store hit result. Let's add a comment that says something like store hit results. Let's go with hit results. Okay, for storing my hit results, I'm gonna go with something like maybe an apple first. Alright, once I'm done with the hit result, I'm gonna get my query parameters. Well, I really want to know from which country you're from. Honestly, it might be like a good little treasure hunt because in my old streams, I used to actually say a lot from where I was, so you guys could like go digging through the very, very old streams type stuff. All these days, I did like avoid saying it for like safety reasons and all that. That said, let's go ahead and grab my mini project up here. In my mini project, my query parameters point uses a hyphen to point towards ignore ourselves so we don't get hit by our own array. Okay, so let's add a query parameter. So I'm gonna go with QUERYPARAMS. Query parameters is gonna be pointing towards. I want to go ahead and ignore INGORE ourself so we don't get hit by our own array. There we go. Once I'm done with that, I'm gonna go ahead and let's say, what could I do? I might go with something like query parameters. Let's go with FQUERYPARAMS. Okay, there we go. Okay. I'm using Intel lessons because I forgot the function. Was it collision query parameters? I think it was collision query params, which is going to be represented by a local variable called something like QUERY. Excuse me, guys. Okay, that's enough. You don't have to say anything. Honestly, it does make sense. That's it. Let's go with something like parameters ending with a semicolon. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to go with something like QUERYPARAMS. Okay. Dot the add ignore actor function. So I'm going to use Intel lessons as well. Okay, let's go with something like add ignored actor. Who do I want my ignored actor to be? I want this actor, which is basically my sharpshooter, to be my ignored actor, ending with a semicolon. Okay, you look like an Indian. That's why I'm asking you, bro. That actually does make sense. Many people do get confused by that. Okay, that's it. Now, once I'm done with this, what's the next thing I might want to do? Okay, hold up, guys. Let me open my mini project real quick. Okay, so it was F collision query params. Okay, and then I ignored this actor. Next up, trigger line trace is pronounced as single, not signal. Okay, there's the thing, guys. The reason I actually wrote this is because last week when I worked on this program, I kept saying that this is called the line trace signal by channel, but it's line trace single by channel. I don't really understand why is it named single and not signal. But I mean, I guess it's named what it's named. So I go ahead and create line trace, trigger line trace, a trigger line trace. So I go with a Boolean variable called bHit. So this is going to be a Boolean variable to check whether or not I have hit something, which is going to be equal to my world that points towards line trace single by channel, which requires a few parameters. First is going to be hit result. Second is going to be start. Where do I want my array? Where do I want my ray to start for? And where do I want my ray to end? ECC underscore visibility. I want to move as long as I can actually see what's in front of me. If, for example, a big boulder stopped my path, so it's let's say limiting my visibility. I cannot see what's behind the boulder, so I stop there. That's what I actually hit. And then I have query params. Okay, so I hit everyone besides myself. Line trace signal, right? Line trace single by action. Okay, so apparently I'm gonna go with something like, what was it? It was trigger line trace, so I'm gonna go with something like trigger line trace. Let's go with something like trigger line trace. TRACE. For my trigger line trace, I'm going to create a boolean variable called hit, which is going to be equal to my worlds that points towards line trace single by channel. Okay, so line trace single by channel with a pair of parentheses. Now, my pair of parentheses does require a bunch of parameters. It requires a fhit result, which in this case, it's my hit result here. I'm going to go ahead and copy that. So let's paste it here. And then the next parameter that it requires is going to be start and end. Where do I want my array to start from? Where do I want my array to end? So I'm going to go ahead and give it my start variable and my end variable. The third parameter is going to be a e-collision channel, trace channel. In this case, I want my collision channel to be ECC underscore visibility. There we go. Okay, and lastly, I'm going to go ahead and need a e-collision query parameters. This is basically adding some kind of rules to our array that do not hit this object. You're only allowed to hit a certain object. To do that, I'm going to go ahead and set this to be my query parameters. Copy that, paste it here. Okay, and then I'm just going to go ahead and end my function with a semicolon. That's right about it, to be honest. Hey, hello, back. How are you doing, Calsman here? Appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, that's it. Let's go ahead and open my mini project again. Now, finally, the last thing that I gotta do is draw a line that makes the invisible ray visible. So I want to add some kind of color to my invisible ray so I can actually see it shoot. Guys, I think that the apple actually got in my lungs. There he goes, actually trying to chew that up. Okay, now next up, I'm gonna go ahead and add another comment that says something like, okay, draw debug line to make the INVISIBLE, to make the invisible ray PISIBLE. So I'm gonna go ahead and make my invisible ray visible by using the draw debug lines function. Here's the thing, did I include my there we go, I did not go ahead and include. Let's go with something like hashtag include my draw debug helpers header file. Okay, so now that I've included my draw debug helpers as header files, I can go ahead and have access or get access to my draw debug line, which for some reason I had access without even including this header file here. Okay, 6-7, guys, I thought that we left the 6-7 jokes back in 2025. Okay, next up, I'm gonna go ahead and include something from my engine as well. I'm gonna go with engine/engines.h. Okay, this is basically my engine and header files as well, because I do use my G-engine add-on screen debug message, which apparently it does work without my header file, but for some reason I do add the header files. That's it. In my draw debug line, I'm gonna go ahead and require no parameters. Wait, that's strange. What up, guys? Let's go ahead and check it out. Draw debug line. Doesn't it still say any? It does say. Okay, I guess it's just my Unreal Engine. Okay, they left me in 2025. Actually, guys, left me in 2025. It's kind of crazy. Okay, that's it. Let's go with a few parameters. The first parameter is gonna be my uWorld, which is basically gonna be my world variable. The second parameter is gonna be, it's an effector of my start line and end line, which is basically gonna be start, end. Okay, and the fourth parameter is gonna be a color. Now, this is where I use the question mark that is somewhat like a ternary operator or a conditional expression if you guys are like familiar with Python, but in an C++/Unreal Engine way. Okay, so I'm gonna be using a color here. Okay, so I'm gonna go with something like F color, which is gonna be using scope resolution operator to point towards. Let's say something like red. If I hit something, I want it to be red. Else, I want my F color to be, let's say something like, should I go with black? I think I'll go with black. Black is if I missed. Excuse me guys, and I think I missed like a tiny bit of logic up there. Okay, so query parameters. Okay, my B hit there. This is where the question mark goes. This is where I got confused. So if my boolean of hit variable, oh yeah, we need a condition which is either true or false. Based on that, I do either this or this. If my B hit is true, my color of my ray is green. Else the color of my ray is black. There we go. I needed a kind of condition here. Let's go with something like a boolean of hit variable. If my B hit is set to true, then I want to do something. I'm gonna add a question mark. My F color, the color of my ray is gonna be something like red. Else, I'm gonna use a colon. The color of my array or my ray is gonna be, let's say something like black. Okay, and then I'm just going to be adding a viewer parameters. First is going to be the persistence line, which I don't know. I want to set it to be false. I'll set it to be false because I don't really want a persistence line because I don't really know what it does. Next up, a float lifetime. I need a depth priority and a thickness. I'm not going to be adding my lifetime stuff. I don't think so. Fine, I'll go with like 1.0. Maybe 1.f. There we go. Now I just need my depth priority and my thickness, where I could go with something like 0.5f ending with a semicolon. Actually 0.5f and maybe 5 for my thickness. And then I ended with a semicolon. Now let's hit Control S. Let me just fact check if my numbers are actually kind of legit, because they might not. Okay, so okay, I mean, yeah, my persistence line is set to false because I don't think I need one. Floating point time is set for 2 seconds. Oh, I see what my time means. This is how long my ray is going to be visible on my window. Seriously, 0 for my depth priority. Thickness is 5. I mean, I think we're good. And then we add a comment to check if we hit something. If I hit something, a actor, which is going to be represented by pointer called something like hit actor, is going to be equal to hit result.get actor. This is like not compulsory to add this, but the reason we actually do add this if check here or if condition here is to see exactly what we hit. That's it for the time being. I do want to eat an apple. Oh, guys. Okay, is it just me or is that are these apples like chewier than usual? Okay, that said, to check if we hit something, we go with an if statement that says something like if boolean of hit is set to true. If it is, a actor is going to be represented by pointer called hit actor. And the reason this is a actor is basically almost everything in our level is an actor besides myself, which is a character. So if I hit anything, I'm going to get what I hit. Like, even characters are more advanced actors, if that makes any sense. Okay. Which actor did I hit? So hit result dot get actor. What is my hit result? When did I create a hit result? F hit result. There we go. Dot the get actor. Okay, what's good, my boy? Hiding Sprongle. I appreciate you joining the stream. Guys, I think got a sore throat. That said, once I get my hit actor, I'm gonna check if my hit actor is null PDR. If it is, I'm gonna return. I don't want my function to continue any further. Speaking of which, might drink some water. Kind of choking. Oh god, I got a splash all over my face. There we go. Okay, and then I just had a G-Engine add-on screen debug message only if my hit actor is not null. I go with a G-Engine add-on screen debug message where I have a F string. I want to print print F. I want to print a text. I hit this string name. Hit actor get name. Okay, hit actor get name. I think that's pretty self-explanatory now. Okay, I'm gonna go with a comment that says something like check if we hit something. Okay, to check if we hit something, I'm gonna go with something like an if statement that checks my boolean of hit variable. If my boolean of hit variable is set to true, then I'm gonna go ahead and do something. What do I want to do? I think I spelled check wrong. Okay, so if my boolean of hit result was set to true, I want to see exactly what I hit. So I'm going to go with something like a actor, which is going to be represented by a pointer, called something like hit actor. Okay, this is basically the actor that got hit, which is going to be equal to my hit result. Okay, my hit results is structure. My hit results is local variable that represents my hit results structure. Dot the get actor name. I want to get my actor name that has that's been set in my Unreal's outliner. Until lessons time, I guess. Was it a get actor name? I could have sworn that it was get actor name. Hold up, guys. Okay, it's get actor. I thought it was get name. There we go. Okay. Okay, so maybe I'm gonna go ahead and add a comment that says, which actor did I hit? This checks which actor did I hit, and then I'm gonna get that actor which I hit, okay? And then I'm gonna add a if statement to check if my hit actor is equal to null PDR. If my hit actor was null, then I wanna go ahead and return, ending with a semicolon. In the other hand, if my hit actor was not null and there is some kind of data stored inside of it, which means I hit something, I want to display what I hit. I'm going to go with something like a G-Engine, which points towards a add-on screen debug message. Alright, guys, let's go with something like message with a parentheses. That requires a few parameters. The first parameter is going to be a key, which is going to be -1. Second is going to be for how long do I want my debug message to be displayed on my window. I'm going to go with 2.f, 2 seconds on my window. And then what color do I want it to be? I'm going to go with something like f color as the structure. Using a scope resolution operator, I want to point towards black. I want to see what I hit in a black color. And then I'm going to go with something like another, let's say f string. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and use my f strings as structure. And in case you guys are wondering what does the F even stand for, whenever anything is being prefixed with F, that's basically a structure. F strings as structure is going to use a scope resolution operator and point towards printf, which is going to be having a pair of parentheses and requiring my text in here. Give me a text that you want to display on the level. My text is going to be something like you hit, okay, %s. What did I hit? I'm gonna go outside my pair of parentheses and then get my hit actor. What actor did I hit? Which points towards get name. I want to get the name of the actor that I hit, ending with a semicolon. Else, let's go with, whoops, did I add a wrong semicolon? There we go. Let's end this with a semicolon. Else, I want to go ahead and display a whole different text. Just to save time, I'm going to copy my G-Engine add-on screen debug message. Okay, where I have a printf, all the basic stuff, blah, blah, blah. But I will not be needing any of this extra things. All I'm going to be requiring is going to be a text that says something like, you missed, exclamation, you missed, dot, dot, dot. Fool. Okay, there we go. Now let's hit Control S to save the code. I'm positive this is pretty much it. Actually, not like completely much it, because I do gotta go ahead and do my binding and all that. But that's a piece of cake. So now for my binding, I'm gonna firstly go ahead and add a comment that says something like bind the LMB function. So I'm gonna go with something like bind LMB action. In order to bind my LMB action, I'm gonna go with enhance input component that points towards my bind actions is function. What up, guys? Let's go with something like bind actions is function, which requires a few parameters. The first parameter is going to be my action name, which in this case it's going to be LMB action. Okay, and then it's going to be requiring a eTrigger event as well. So I'm going to go with eTrigger event. What event am I looking for when I click my left mouse button? Either I want to get a read if my mouse button is being pressed, or if it's not being pressed. So if my mouse button or if my LMB action has started on this object, which means it is being pushed, I want to tell it to do what my A sharpshooter, let's go with something like SHOOTR, what my A sharpshooters is. I'm gonna copy this to save some time. What my A sharpshooters is LMB underscore pressed function tells me to do, ending with a semicolon. And then in the contrary, I'm gonna go with enhance input component again, which points towards the bind actions is function that requires a bind action parameter, a eTrigger event, which is going to be using a scope resolution operator to point towards completed. If my LMB action has been completed on this object, I want to do what my LMB underscore released function tells me to do. RELEASED. Ending with a semicolon. Guys, what's wrong with my throat? It's getting pretty sore. Okay, that's it. I'm done with my LMB action. I'm done with almost everything. Lastly, I need my shoot action. When do I want to shoot? I want to shoot every time I click my LMB. So I'm going to add a comment here. Let's say something like bind shoot action, where I'm going to go with enhance input component that points towards another bind actions is function, where this is going to be called my LMB action, because I want my shoot to trigger when I am pressing my LMB. Okay, I'm gonna go with something like a eTrigger event, which points towards something like started. If a LMB action has started on this object, I not only want this function to execute, my LMB underscore press function to execute, I want my, let's say, shoot function to execute as well, ending with a semicolon. Now that I'm done with this, I'm gonna hit Control S to save the code and let's say get my Unreal Engine up here. There we go, and then I'm going to hit Control Alt F11 to compile my code real quick. Let's get my live coding here. While it's compiling, I'm going to go ahead and just get this up here. Is it done compiling or is it still compiling? Oh, it's still compiling. Build failed. Hold up. Include engine / engine the header file. Oh, I see. My bad. Wrong spelling. Okay. Hashtag include ENGINE /ENGINES. Engine / engines is header files, right? Until lesson. Then hit Control Alt F11 again to compile the code. Because I don't really need my G-Engine. Another error in my text. Okay, so it says get name, then F string. Okay, I guess let's fix the second error, which I apparently get here, down there. There we go. So it's hit actor.getName. I might open my mini project real quick. In my mini project, if I were to scroll all the way up. I gotta give the memory address of my hit actor. I didn't do that. Okay, actually, I gotta use the dereferencing operator. Okay, now let's go ahead and open my Unreal Engine. Let's hit Control Alt F11. This should work. Okay, let's see. There we go, results succeeded in 4 seconds. While this is being done, I'm gonna go ahead and extend my content drawer here. Okay, well, I guess while it's... Okay, there we go. I was just gonna need some apple while I was patching. Never mind. I'm gonna go ahead and get this up here. And then let's click my sharpshooter and type something like input. Now, magically in my input, I'm gonna get 2 or 1 empty input called LMB action. Do I need one for my shoot action? Let me think. I might actually need one for my shoot action. Let me just go ahead and grab my project up here. Let's go to my header files. Okay, so in my header files, I have LMB action, summon action, blah, blah. Okay, honestly, I might not need a shoot action because LMB action is like associated with the shoot action. The reason I would add another shoot action, or I would create an individual shoot action, would be if I wanted to go ahead and add different kinds of projectile attacks. For example, if I hit B, I want to go ahead and launch a bomb. If I hit left mouse button, I want to go ahead and trigger my machine gun and all that stuff. But for the time being, all I want to do is set this to IA_LMB. Where I did not create an input action, so I'm gonna double click my input, right click, go with something like action input or input action. This is going to be called something like IA_LMB. My left mouse button action, I'm gonna go to sharpshooter, set this to be something like IA_LMB, and then I'm gonna kind of just truncate this here, go to my IMC default. In my IMC default, I'm gonna go ahead and add a mapping now. For my mapping, I'm going to go ahead and click the plus icon here, and then click this, go ahead and select IA_LMB, where this is going to trigger, or my array is going to trigger every time I shoot my left mouse button or click my left mouse button. Okay, I think that's actually pretty good, right? I'm going to hit Control Alt F11 to compile the code one more time, and this time it should work. There we go. Now, if I were to go ahead and run the program, let's see what happens. M spawns a meat. You missed, fool. Okay, hold up, guys. I'm missing way too much. Wait, why am I missing? I cannot... Okay, my program works, but I'm missing for some reason. Let's see. For some reason, my array is not really shooting. Okay, let's think why. Maybe because my depth priority is set to 0.5. I'm going to set it to something like 0.1. Or let's go ahead and get this here. What are my depth priorities? So in my shoot function, lifetime 2, priority 0, thickness 5. Okay, so I have lifetime. Okay, wait, what was my lifetime again? Thickness is going to be 5.f, okay. And then priority. Okay, so 2 and... Oh. I mean, I don't think that this is going to make that big of a difference. Let's go ahead and Control Alt F11 again to compile the code real quick. Let's wait for it to compile. While it's compiling, I might eat an apple. Guys, let me think about this really carefully. Okay, it might be where my mouse was pointing because my shoot function does trigger, so it's not my trigger, it's probably a logic error here. Let's try fixing the logic error. Let's go under my shoot function. Okay, so effector world direction, world location. So it starts as world location plus world direction multiplied by 500. Okay, I think I see. World location plus multiplied by 500. 1,000 point F. Could it be because I didn't set this to be a floating point number? I highly doubt that's the issue here. Let's go with Control Alt F11 real quick. Okay, once it's done compiling, I'm going to go ahead and run the program real quick. What if I look like absolutely down? I don't hit my array, never shoots off my finger. So I might go with the Control A, Control C. Let's get Claude here after a long time. Let's paste it, go with Shift Enter and say something like Sensei. I was working on my shoot function for my gray casting, but I see it saying you missed full, but I can't see a array being shooted. Is it still INVISIBLE? Is it still invisible? I honestly don't think it's invisible. I think that it's not shooting, that it didn't actually shoot till now. Okay, wait, hold on. Before you touch anything, you sent me a complete new chapter, a character class, a sharpshooter. What happened to Alexis? Do you start a new project? Yes, it was a new project. Say. There we go. Because I was like done with the Alexis project. Okay, that is fine, the project. I see your code and I already spotted the problem, but first, you never answered my question from the start of the stream. What is F collision query params and why do we use add ignore? So the F collision query params is in charge of adding a rule like a boundary which says the way to ignore my player. Okay, let's go with something which ignore my player. I think that's pretty much it. I was gonna say like attack everything except my player, but okay, yes, that's exactly right. See, stream, they study, they came back prepared, and this is why they're going to be dangerous. Preparation is the key to success, said by Alexandra Graham Bell. I see. Now let's fix your bug. I see the problem immediately in your shoot function. Look at this. I knew there was an error here. You're mixing up world location and world direction. Look at your D project screen call. Okay, these are swapped. World direction, world location. Wait, are they supposed to be in a certain order? World direction, world location. Oh, that's gonna be world location. That's gonna be world direction. Okay, and then let's hit Control S to save the code. Now, if I were to go ahead and hit Control Alt F11, and guys, I did not know that the order really matters there. I mean, it does. I think that's the very basics when it comes to actually filling in parameters. Order does matter. I should have checked that out. That's it. If I were to go ahead and run the program, I do see my laser shooting right now, and it says you hit the floor, you missed this thing full. Okay, and then if I hit something like M, spawn my meats. Okay, and then I just go ahead and kind of shoot my meat. Okay, and if I hit the sky, I kind of missed. Let's try hitting it from here. Okay, I guess let's see the range. Am I really good at FPS games? I did hit the meat. I did not miss. Let's try again. You hit the meat. You hit the floor. Okay, I want to go a bit more back. Can I still hit the meat? Guys, that's what I'm saying. I've been a good. Oh wait, never mind. I was like, I've been a good whatchamacallit, sharpshooter. I guess I should take that back. Wait, hold up, guys. I want to kind of test how I want to see how well I can shoot. I'm gonna go ahead and drop a meat here. Let's see my max distance. I can go ahead and shoot a meat from here. What if I go even further back? I hit the meat. Let's go even further back. I think we can barely see the meat up here. Let's try shooting it. Okay, let's go even further back. I think that we can barely see the meat anymore. It's right there. Hit the meat again. Is it like a guaranteed hit? There we go. There's no way I'm hitting that right now, right? How do I keep hitting it? That doesn't make any sense. Okay, I guess I'm gonna go even for... That's one annoying thing. Let's double click this. I wanna check my aim. Hold up, guys. I guess I made the game. Might as well add some kind of let's say benefits to it. I'm gonna click my floor. Let's click something like R. I want to increase the size. Let's get it as big as possible here. This is all the size that I might need. Now let's go ahead and run the code. Oh shoot, I just realized I gotta go ahead and actually place my meat somewhere. Well, I did not really add a sprint logic, so I gotta maybe go ahead and walk here. I think this is good. I think this is good. Okay, why are you up so early in the morning? Honestly, it's almost afternoon. Like, it's past noon. Okay, let's go ahead and hit something like M. There we go. Now, let me go all the way back. I'm not gonna be waiting that long to, like, check if I can actually... Can I hit a moving target? Nope, missed. Hit the meat, guys. I'm telling you guys, I've been a good FPS player. Alright, this might be a challenge. I hit the floor. No. Wait, let me try hitting the meat. Hit the floor again. I hit the meat. Even though I took 2 shots, I did hit the meat. Let's go a bit further back. Let's try hitting it. How did I hit it? Okay, guys, I can barely see it in my screen. Like, I bet you guys can't even see it anymore. It's like a pixel. Like, that's... I hit the floor. Yeah, there is no shot I'm hitting this. I hit the floor again. Let's try one last time. You missed, fool. What about just spam hitting? Alright, guys, this is the limit. What's the time? It's almost 3 p.m. How do I keep missing? Alright, guys, that was my limit. I'm a good FPS player. I'm not like a brilliant FPS player. Ah, this is going to be so much fun. I just realized once I actually complete the game, I hit the meat from here. I think this is my limit. I can like hit the meats from here. There we go. Maybe if I have some space to aim. There. Okay, I think that was like a pretty good display. Okay, honestly, that was basically everything that I wanted to do in this stream. Raycasting. Hopefully, if I like work, because I do got like a quiz this Tuesday and like an exam Monday as well. Actually, on Monday, I forgot what Wednesday. This Thursday. So if I actually did have time, I will be working on this off stream. But if I didn't have time, I will be working on this next stream. Although if I did work on this off stream, where I thought that I did kind of understand this program, I will start working with UI. That's basically my nightmare. Actually adding let me go to my main camera first though. There we go. Okay, so basically UI is like Unreal's graphics. That's so annoying because I gotta go ahead and work on learning the blueprints as well. I gotta work with nodes and like visualize everything. That said, this might be pretty much it for the stream. If you guys did enjoy the stream, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, like, up to my algorithm, share, make you smile, subscribing like a share and top. That said, I just started multi-streaming on Twitch, YouTube. I will start multi-streaming on TikTok and Instagram as well. So if you guys really enjoy my content and haven't followed me yet, make sure to follow me there. The link is going to be in the description, and you guys can get access to the link to my bio as well, or by typing exclamation social on chat. That's it. Join my Discord server as well. That's where I usually talk to you guys, chat with you guys, have general conversations, give you guys my roadmaps and all that good stuff. The link is going to be in the description, the bio, or you guys can get access to my Discord server by typing exclamation Discord on chat. That said, I'll catch you guys in the next live stream or video. Peace.